Welcome to part 1 of chapter 9. This is a brief introduction to project Human Resource Management. This introduction will give you a high-level overview of the main processes or functions under Project Human Resource Management. Many corporate executives say that people are our most important asset. If you go to any kind of presentation by a CEO, Chief Executive Officer, or chairman of the board, if you read any annual report to shareholders, most likely you will see this phrase: people are our most important asset. Now, of course, some executives, they don't practice what they preach, meaning they declare that people are their most important assets, but in reality they underpay people, they fail to retain their top talent. The truth is, for many organizations, labor expense, especially if we're talking about service organizations, labor expense is the largest share of their total budget, of their total cost. So whenever times become tough, that's where managers look for cost cuts, right? Salaries, laying off people, because that's where they can achieve the most savings. So the reality sometimes is quite different from what executives declare. But again, if you think about it, at least from a theoretical level, again, people are the people. It's people who stand behind companies, behind products, behind services, behind business models, behind successful strategies. It's largely about the talent that you have. It's largely about expertise, intelligence, motivation, and creativity of people who work for a particular organization. So those, these resources, human resources, they determine success and failure of an organization or something smaller, such as an IT project. So people are indeed a very important asset. So what is Project Human Resource Management then? It's about making the most effective use of the people involved with the project. And even beyond that, I would say that this is what management is all about. It's getting things done through other people. So if you don't like working with other people, if it gives you too much headache, too much stress, if you don't understand people, there are a lot of people who are very intelligent, they understand code, they understand technologies, but they don't understand, as Isaac Newton used to say, the madness of people. Isaac Newton is a good example of that. You've heard about him, of course, because he was like one of those early scientists who laid the foundation for modern physics, more specifically mechanics, by formulating, I believe, those 3 laws of motion, Newtonian laws. And Newton, being a very brilliant, very accomplished scientist, he was also a business person or investor of some sort. So and he invested most of his money into a company back in the United Kingdom that was doing some trade, some business with India. And then there was a classic stock market panic. People ended up selling all that stock, and he started panicking, and he sold his stock, and he lost most of his money. And that's when he said, I've seen this quote many times. He said something like, "I can predict the movement of planets and stars, but I cannot predict the madness of people." Right? So some people are very intelligent, but they cannot work effectively with others. So if that's the case, then being a manager is probably not for you. But even if you take this, safe path, in terms of avoiding interaction with humans, if you become, let's say, a software developer or networking specialist, you will still have to work with teams, right? Nowadays there's just no escape from that. And also, as you gain experience in software development or network management or whatever the technical area is, eventually you will want to have some kind of meaningful progression to your career, and you will end up becoming a team lead, when it comes to software development, or software architect, or maybe you'll become an IT department head or something like that. So if that's what you want, if you want to make the progression, to gain a better to become basically to grow professionally and to make more money, to assume additional responsibilities, then there's no escape from becoming effective with people. So it's very important for anyone, even for those people who say that they don't want to work with people, they don't like working with people, they like working alone. There is a time in their lives, in their careers, where they have to acquire those skills. So some of the most fundamental or important processes under Project Human Resource Management are as follows. Developing the human resource plan, which means identifying and documenting project roles, responsibilities, and reporting relationships. This is something that you'll have to do in your project. You'll have to create an organizational chart that shows who is reporting to whom, which person belongs to which team, and so forth. So first you need to have human resource plans. Acquiring the project team, getting the needed personnel assigned to and working on the project, so hiring them. I remember my boss, who I believe was quite good at project management, that's the first thing on his mind whenever somebody initiates or proposes a project. Who's going to be in charge of it? Who are we going to hire to get things done? Developing the project team. So once you acquire them, it may not be enough. They may not have expertise, or their expertise may become outdated over time. So you need to build individual and group skills to enhance their project performance, either on this particular project or in general. And then day-to-day management of the project team, tracking team member performance, motivating team members, providing timely feedback on their work so they can make adjustments, they can improve, resolving issues and conflicts. This can be quite nerve-wracking, and many people who are actually good-natured, that's why they fail as team managers, because they don't like to get into those issues and conflicts. But nevertheless, they need to be addressed if your team to stay healthy and productive. Coordinating changes and overall to help enhance project performance, right? So that's what daily team management is all about. So here we have a summary of those processes. There are some outputs associated with those processes. So you can pause for a second and take a look at this diagram. So those are the areas that we're going to discuss in chapter 9. So this completes part 2 of chapter 9.